Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss a technique called two-stage least square. Remember that choice of technique depends on the identification status of equations. If the equation is exactly identified, we use indirect least square. If the equation is unidentified, we cannot use any technique. We need to identify the equation. If the equation is over-identified, then one of the choices is two-stage least square. So today we'll elaborate how to go through this procedure and how to estimate the parameters of an over-identified equation with the help of two-stage least square. By the name, you can understand that we have two stages. So I'll describe to you what is stage 1 and what is stage 2, and later we'll move to the use of stata to solve for the parameters of over-identified equations. So remember that we have two stages, as the name suggests, two-stage least square, and this is applied only to over-identified equations. Although you must remember, if we apply two-stage least square to exactly identified equations, you will get the same results as if you have had applied ILS. But today we are going to focus on systems where one of the or more of the equations are over-identified, and then we need to apply two-stage least square to solve for the parameters of those equations. So in stage 1, basically, we need the reduced form of the equations for the variables on the right-hand side of the over-identified equation. Let me tell you again, you have an over-identified equation. You have some endogenous variables on the right-hand side of the over-identified equation. You need a proxy for that variable because that variable is causing endogeneity problems, simultaneous issues. So what we do is we estimate the reduced form of that endogenous variable or variables. Suppose you have only one endogenous variable on the right-hand side of an over-identified equation. So what you need to do in stage 1 is to find the reduced form of that endogenous variable, the reduced form equation, and then estimate that reduced form equation with the help of ordinary least square. So if you remember, we can apply OLS to reduced form equations. Why? Because we have only exogenous variables on the right-hand side, and we have all the exogenous variables present in the model on the right-hand side of all reduced form equations. So let me also remind you that for ILS, we need to solve for the models in order to get the expressions where we express the structural parameters in terms of the reduced form coefficients. But today in two-stage least square, we don't need to solve for that model. We can directly write the reduced form equation if we are manually replicating the procedure in stages, and then we can estimate that reduced form equation and find the trend values. So trend values are the values of the dependent variable if you substitute the values of pairs of independent variables in the right-hand side of the equation and find the what we call y hat or trend values. This is stage 1. In stage 2, we'll take those trend values of the endogenous variable which was on the right-hand side of the over-identified equation, and we will substitute the trend values instead of the original y. So the trend values are then not related to the error term. So you can apply OLS to this transformed equation. So for example, if you have a variable y1 depending on y2 and other variables, and y2 is an endogenous variable, in stage 1 you will estimate the reduced form of y2, find the trend values y2 hat, and then substitute y2 hat instead of y2, and instead of running a regression y1 on y2 and other variables, you will run a regression in stage 2 y1 on y2 hat and some other variables. So when you have these two stages, you will ultimately get the parameters that will be called the estimated parameters by two-stage least square, because you have gone through two stages of least squares. In both of the stages, you have applied ordinary least square. Remember that ordinary least square cannot be applied to the original structural equation because you have endogenous variables on the right-hand side. Let me elaborate this procedure with the help of a model. लेकिन briefly मैं पहले आपको दोबारा बताऊँ आसान अल्फाज में कि ये two-stage least square में क्या procedure होता है. फर्ज करें आपके पास एक मॉडल है जिसमें कोई ना कोई इक्वेशन ओवर आइडेंटिफाइड है. ये कैसे पता चलता है? ऑर्डर्ड कंडीशन से देख लें, क्योंकि जैसे मैंने आपको बताया हमें इस बात की ज़रूरत नहीं है कि हम मॉडल को सॉल्व करके वो एक्सप्रेशंस निकालें जिसमें हम अल्फाज और बीटाज और दूसरे स्ट्रक्चरल पैरामीटर्स को पाइस की सूरत में दिखाएं। उसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है। टू स्टेज लीस्ट स्क्वायर में ज़रूरत नहीं है, ILS में थी। इसलिए हम बजाय सॉल्व करने के ऑर्डर कंडीशन अप्लाई करके आइडेंटिफिकेशन स्टेटस देख लेंगे। अब जो इक्वेशन ओवर आइडेंटिफाइड है उसको हमने टू स्टेज लीस्ट स्क्वायर के ज़रिए सॉल्व करना है, पैरामीटर्स निकालने हैं। अब फर्ज करें एक इक्वेशन आपको मालूम हो गई कि ये ओवर आइडेंटिफाइड है। अब आप देखेंगे उसकी राइट हैंड साइड पे कौन कौन से एंडोजेनस वेरिएबल्स मौजूद हैं। फर्ज करें एक ही एंडोजेनस वेरिएबल है। टू सिंप्लीफाई, तो पहले आप उस एंडोजेनस वेरिएबल की रिड्यूस्ड फॉर्म निकालेंगे, लिख लेंगे। सॉल्व करके निकालने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। आप कैसे लिखेंगे बगैर सॉल्व किए? दो प्रॉपर्टीज ज़हन में रखेंगे। एक, उस रिड्यूस्ड फॉर्म इक्वेशन के राइट हैंड साइड पर सिर्फ एक्सोजेनस वेरिएबल्स हो सकते हैं, एंडोजेनस वेरिएबल नहीं लिखेंगे कोई भी। दूसरा, जितने भी एक्सोजेनस वेरिएबल मॉडल में मौजूद हैं बाकी इक्वेशंस में भी, वो सारे के सारे इस रिड्यूस फॉर्म में आएंगे। सो आप डायरेक्टली एक रिड्यूस फॉर्म इक्वेशन को लिख सकते हैं, कोई मसला नहीं है। नेक्स्ट स्टेप ये होगा कि किसी डेटा की मदद से इस रिड्यूस्ड फॉर्म इक्वेशन को एस्टिमेट करें। तो आपने इसको एस्टिमेट कर लिया, उसके बाद आप ट्रेंड वैल्यूज़ निकालेंगे। आपको याद होगा ट्रेंड वैल्यूज़ का मतलब है एस्टिमेटेड इक्वेशन में आप वैल्यूज़ सब्स्टिट्यूट कर दें राइट हैंड साइड वेरिएबल्स की, और उसका रिजल्ट जो आएगा वो ट्रेंड वैल्यू कहलाएगा। तो आपके पास ट्रेंड वैल्यूज़ का एक कॉलम या एक सेट ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशंस आ जाएंगी। ये स्टेज 1 है। दोबारा देखिए, सिंपल बात है। हम पहले वो वेरिएबल देखेंगे जो ओवर आइडेंटिफाइड इक्वेशन की राइट हैंड साइड पे है, उसकी रिड्यूस फॉर्म निकालेंगे, उसे एस्टिमेट कर लेंगे और ट्रेंड वैल्यूज निकालेंगे। दैट इज स्टेज 1। अब स्टेज 2 में हम वापस ओरिजिनल स्ट्रक्चरल इक्वेशन पे जाएंगे, उस इक्वेशन को देखेंगे जो ओवर आइडेंटिफाइड है, उसमें राइट हैंड साइड पर जो एंडोजेनस वेरिएबल था उसकी जगह ये ट्रेंड वैल्यूज रखेंगे और OLS रन कर देंगे। ये स्टेज 2 है। इसके रिजल्ट में जो पैरामीटर्स आएंगे उनको कहेंगे टू स्टेज लीस्ट स्क्वायर एस्टिमेटर्स। और ये वो एस्टिमेटर्स हैं, वो स्ट्रक्चरल पैरामीटर्स हैं जिनको हमने टू स्टेज लीस्ट स्क्वायर की मदद से सॉल्व किया, निकाला है या कंप्यूट किया, एस्टिमेट किया। तो अब देखते हैं कि एग्जांपल के साथ कि ये प्रोसीजर ज़रा डिटेल के साथ कैसे हो सकता है। फर्स्ट, कंसिडर ए सिंपल स्ट्रक्चरल मॉडल वेयर यू हैव वन ओवर आइडेंटिफाइड इक्वेशन। दूसरी इक्वेशन कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, वो एग्जैक्टली आइडेंटिफाइड होगा तो आप उसको ILS से निकाल लेंगे। अगर वो अनआइडेंटिफाइड होगा कुछ नहीं कर सकते। अगर ओवर आइडेंटिफाइड होगा तो उसको भी आप टू स्टेज लीस्ट स्क्वायर से सॉल्व कर सकते हैं। मगर प्रेजेंटली आसान एग्जाम्पल के लिए फ़र्ज करें कि यू हैव ए मॉडल विद वन ओवर आइडेंटिफाइड इक्वेशन एंड द अदर इक्वेशन इज अनआइडेंटिफाइड। सो वी कैन फोकस ऑन द ओवर आइडेंटिफाइड इक्वेशन। तो ये मॉडल आपके सामने है स्क्रीन पे। y1 इज़ α0 प्लस α1 y2 प्लस e1। आप जानते हैं कि α0 और α1 को हम कहते हैं स्ट्रक्चरल पैरामीटर्स। y1 और y2 इसमें एंडोजेनस वेरिएबल्स हैं। e जो है वो एरर टर्म है, डिस्टर्बेंस। y2 इज़ एक्सप्रेस्ड इन टर्म्स ऑफ y1 एंड x1 एंड x2। एक और चीज़ आपको याद करवा दूं, एक्सक्लूजन क्राइटेरियन। एक इक्वेशन के आइडेंटिफाई होने के लिए ज़रूरी है कि कोई ना कोई दो इक्वेशन मॉडल में कोई ना कोई एक वेरिएबल ऐसा ज़रूर हो जो उस इक्वेशन में ना हो, एक वेरिएबल जो एक्सोजेनस हो। अब अगर आप इक्वेशन 2 को देखें और सोचें क्या कोई ऐसा एक्सोजेनस वेरिएबल है मॉडल में जो इस इक्वेशन में नहीं है, ऐसा कोई नहीं है, तो फिर ये इक्वेशन आइडेंटिफाई नहीं हो सकती। फौरन देखते ही आपको पता लग जाना चाहिए। So when you see that you don't have any exogenous variable that is excluded from equation 2, that is present in the model but is not present in the equation 2. So equation 2 is unidentified. You cannot solve for the parameters of equation 2. But equation 1 on the other hand, you have two excluded variables, more than one excluded variable in two equation model. x1 और x2 दोनों दूसरी equation में मौजूद हैं and you don't see them in the first one. So you have two excluded variables. So this is a hint to see if this equation is over identified at a glance. You can know that. But let's apply order condition. अगर आप इक्वेशन 1 का आइडेंटिफिकेशन स्टेटस देखना चाहते हैं ऑर्डर कंडीशन से, तो आप दो पैरामीटर्स कंप्यूट करेंगे, P1 एंड P2। आप इसको P1 और P2 कहते हैं, कोई और नाम भी दे सकते हैं। तो P1 हमने डिफाइन किया था कि नंबर ऑफ एक्सोजेनस वेरिएबल्स दैट आर एक्सक्लूडेड फ्रॉम द इक्वेशन. अब देखें वो कितने वेरिएबल हैं, 2 वेरिएबल हैं, x1 और x2. सो P1 की वैल्यू है 2. नाउ द सेकंड पैरामीटर, the number of endogenous variables in the model -1. So you have 2 endogenous variables and 2 minus 1 is 1. So parameter P1 की वैल्यू थी 2 और P2 की वैल्यू है 1. Since P1 is greater than P2, तो हमने ये क्राइटेरियन पढ़ा था ऑर्डर कंडीशन में, if P1 is greater than P2, the equation is over identified. So ऑर्डर कंडीशन की इस एप्लीकेशन से हमें पता चला कि इस मॉडल में पहली इक्वेशन ओवर आइडेंटिफाइड है. इस पे ना हम OLS लगा सकते हैं, ना लास्ट टाइम आपने एक टेक्निक सीखी थी ILS, वो लगा सकते हैं. हमारे पास और भी चॉइसेस हैं, मगर एक चॉइस 2 स्टेज लीस्ट स्क्वायर है जो हम अप्लाई करेंगे. सो टू फाइंड द वैल्यूज ऑफ अल्फा नॉट एंड अल्फा 1 ऑफ इक्वेशन 1, यू नीड टू अप्लाई इन सम केसेस 2 स्टेज लीस्ट स्क्वायर्स. अब ये दोनों स्टेजेस आपके सामने स्क्रीन पे एलेबोरेट की हुई हैं इस मॉडल के रेफरेंस से. पहले हमने जनरल बात की थी, अब हम इस मॉडल के रेफरेंस से बात करते हैं ताकि बिल्कुल सिचुएशन क्लियर हो जाए. अब देखें आपकी पहली इक्वेशन ओवर आइडेंटिफाइड है. सो सिंस द फर्स्ट इक्वेशन इज ओवर आइडेंटिफाइड, यू वांट टू अप्लाई 2SLS टू द फर्स्ट इक्वेशन. नाउ लुक एट द राइट हैंड साइड ऑफ द फर्स्ट इक्वेशन. You have endogenous variable y2. It doesn't make a difference if you have exogenous variables or other endogenous variables. So suppose you have only one endogenous variable y2, and it doesn't matter whether you have exogenous variables or no. So now y2 is the variable you focus on. In stage 1, we'll write a reduced form equation for y2. You remember that we write reduced form equations with the help of reduced form coefficients pi's. And then if we have some data, we will estimate this reduced form of y2 and get the parameter values. And using those values, we will find the trend values of y2, जिसको हम denote करते हैं as y2 hat. We denote it as y2 hat. Now look back at the first structural equation. y1 is equal to alpha naught plus alpha 1 y2 plus e1. उसको देखें. इसमें right hand side पे you have a variable y2. You will replace y2 with these trend values of y2 which you found in stage 1. And you will run another OLS, y1 on y2 hat instead of y1 on y2. Now since y2 hat is not related to the error term, there is no problem of endogeneity, so you can easily apply OLS. So when you apply OLS to y1 on y2 hat, which is the estimated value of y2 on the basis of the reduced form equation, you will get the 2-stage least square estimates of alpha 1 and alpha naught. So this is the way we apply 2-stage least square procedure to these equations. You must be thinking that when we just can click in some software and get the estimators, why should we go through this manual procedure? This is to understand what is going on in the background. You must know what is going on. When you modify your models, you have new ideas, you should know what is the procedure going on in the background. You can even program your models. Sometimes you have new models that you have to program in different softwares. So you need to know what goes on in the background. So what goes on in the background in the 2-stage least square command that you already discussed in ILS, we had used it, reg3 in Stata. So you need to know what are the stages in the background, that what are the computations that are taking place. So these are the 2 stages that I described to you to estimate the parameters of this first equation which was over identified. So now let's take an example. We can take examples and data and estimate and show you how we can estimate 2-stage least square parameters, and then later we'll move to direct Stata commands to show how to get the parameters of 2-stage least square application on over identified equation. So now consider an example which you are seeing on the screen. It's the same model we are discussing at the moment. The first equation is over identified, as you know, by order condition. The number of exogenous variable excluded from equation 1 is 2, which is greater than the number of endogenous variables in the model -1, which was 1. So equation 1 is over identified. 2-stage least square must be used. You cannot use OLS or ILS. So what was stage 1? Try to think. What is the variable that we need to estimate in terms of reduced form? Definitely it is on the right hand side of equation 1 of the over identified equation, that is y2. So you need to write an equation for y2, reduced form equation. Now you remember that we solve the model and get the reduced form equations. So we need to know what are the pi's and what are the alphas or betas expressed in terms of pi's. But here you don't need to do that solution. You just write the reduced form equation for y2. So as first equation is over identified, you have an endogenous variable y2 on the right hand side. You want to replace this variable by say some proxy, you can call it a proxy presently. So instead of y2, you will use the trend values of y2, and from where will you get the trend values of y2? You will estimate the reduced form equation in stage 1 and get the trend values. So let's try to write the reduced form equation. Remember the two properties I told you. 1, you have only exogenous variables on the right hand side of a reduced form equation. 2, you have all the exogenous variables of the model on the right hand side of the reduced form equation. You need a reduced form equation for y2. You cannot place y1 as the independent variable because y1 is endogenous. What are the exogenous variables in the model? They are two variables, x1 and x2. So whether they are present in equation 1 or no, regardless of the fact that they are existing in equation 1 or no, you will place them in the reduced form of y2. So y2 can be written in terms of x1 and x2 as you are seeing on the screen. y2 is equal to pi 1 naught plus pi 1 1 x1 plus pi 1 2 x2 plus v1, which is a symbol for the expression that you get containing disturbances. So remember again that we don't need to know what this pi 1 0, pi 1 1 and pi 1 2 is in terms of the alphas and betas. You don't need the expressions. Similarly, you don't need the expressions of how we may express alphas or betas in two ways or more. Remember that in over-identified equations, if we solve for the model and we try to express, in this case, alphas in terms of reduced form coefficients pi's, we can do that in more than one way. Because if we do that in one way, the equation is exactly identified. If we do that in two or more ways, the equation is over-identified. As this is over-identified, as you saw in the order condition, so we have more than one way to express, but we don't need that expression, remember, because 2SLS doesn't need that procedure. So now you are looking at a data set with 10 observations. Remember that this is an example and you need a lot of number of observations or a reasonable sample size for applying these procedures. But just to clarify how to do that, you will look at a file 2sls.xlsx provided to you with the lesson notes. You have a reduced form equation y2 on x1 and x2, which you can estimate by using the line st command, or when you use software, you can say the reg command in Stata, although you can directly apply 2SLS procedures. So look at the data set. You have four variables, y1, y2, x1 and x2. y1 and y2 are endogenous, x1 and x2 are exogenous. So what we need to do in the stage 1 is to estimate the values of y2 in terms of a regression equation y2 on x1 and x2, which is the reduced form equation. We have done that. You can do that by the line st command. The resultant equation is y2 is equal to 3.011 minus 0.039x1 minus 0.152x2. Now what will we do is to substitute the values of the pairs of x1 and x2 in this equation and solve and get each trend value. You are seeing these trend values in a column on the screen. For example, the first trend value is 0.794564. So these trend values complete stage 1. So what we did in stage 1, we wrote a reduced form equation for the variable y2 in terms of reduced form coefficients. We estimated it on the basis of the data that you were just shown. And then we substituted the values of x1 and x2 and computed the values of y2, which we call y2 hat, and they are in front of you on the screen. Now what will we do in stage 2 is we'll replace this y2 with y2 hat. What was the original equation, which was over-identified? y1 is alpha naught plus alpha 1, y2 plus an error term. But y2 was endogenous. So what we did, we estimated y2 and got y2 hat. Now we'll replace this y2, replace y2 hat instead of y2 and run a regression. As you are seeing on the screen, you have y1 is alpha naught plus alpha 1, y2 plus e1, which was the original equation. After applying stage 1, in stage 2, we will replace y2 hat. So you have a new equation, y1 is alpha naught plus alpha 1, y2 hat. In fact, this time, this alpha naught and alpha 1 should be written as alpha naught 2SLS and alpha 1 2SLS, y2 hat plus an error term. Now let's estimate that by using the line ST or any other technique you use, data analysis or Stata regression. You can get an equation y1 is equal to 12.81 plus 13.785 y2. So this 13.785 is the 2SLS estimate for alpha 1. If you just regress y1 on y2, you will get different estimates. In this case, you have 12.81 and 13.785 as the two-stage least square estimates of this first over-identified equation. We ran an OLS regression on this first original equation and got some values 16.03 and 11.6. They are the OLS estimates. So alpha naught OLS and alpha 1 OLS are 16.03 and 11.6, which are quite different from the values of 12.81 and 13.785, which we estimate by 2 SLS. Why these values 16.03 and 11.6 are not good? Because they are estimated by individually running a regression on the equation 1, not taking into account the relationship with equation 2 or the error term of the equation 2, or the relationship between the endogeneity and the simultaneity of variables. So they are not reliable and consistent. The reliable and consistent estimates are the 2 SLS estimates, 12.81 and 13.785. So you can write the equation y1 is equal to 12.81 plus 13.785 y2, where these two values that I recalled were the values of alpha naught and alpha 1 estimated by two-stage least square procedure. Now let's take an example which is of a different nature than the previous one. So you have a market model this time. As we did in ILS, we have two types of models, recursive, and for example, we have models with y1 and y2 as the endogenous variables existing on the left-hand side of the equations, as well as on the right-hand side somewhere in the system. But this time we have a market model, and you remember that when we have demand equations and supply equations, we have an equilibrium condition, quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. On the left-hand side, we have quantity demanded and quantity supplied in the equations. But remember that quantity demanded and supplied are equal at equilibrium. So this is one variable, quantity. So where is the other endogenous variable? Because we have two equations, we need two endogenous variables. Look at the theory of demand and supply. It suggests, the market model suggests, that you simultaneously solve for demand and supply interact, demand and supply curves intersect, quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied, then you get some pairs of price and quantities. So price is the second variable. So you have two variables in the market model that are endogenous, that is price and quantity. If you have two equation model of demand and supply, rest of the variables will be exogenous. Look at the model, please. You have quantity demanded as a function of price only, and quantity supplied as a function of price, cost, and technology, the level of technology. Remember the exclusion restriction. You have two variables that are excluded from equation 1. So in a two equation system, when you have more than one variable, exogenous variable, that is excluded from an equation, it must be over identified. However, you can apply order condition. For example, in this model, where P is price, Q is the quantity demanded or supplied, it's the same at equilibrium. C is cost of production, T is the level of technology. So if you apply order condition, you have two endogenous variables, Q and P, C and T are exogenous. So let's focus on equation 1. The number of variables excluded from the equation is 2, and the number of endogenous variables in the model -1 is 1. So as the first parameter is greater than the second, you know the criterion, the equation is over identified. Now what is the choice when you have over identified equations? It's two-stage least square or three-stage least square, some other technique, instrumental variables. You cannot apply OLS or ILS, which you have previously been discussing. So we need to apply two-stage least square to the demand equation as well. Now what about the supply equation? It is unidentified because you don't have variables, exogenous variables, that have been excluded from equation of the supply. So definitely it is unidentified or under-identified. You can apply order condition yourself and know that. You can even solve for the model to demonstrate that it is unidentified. We are not able to express the parameters beta naught, beta 1 and beta 2 and beta 3 in terms of the reduced form coefficients, which we symbolize as pi's. But at the moment, you don't need to do that. We'll focus on equation 1, that is the demand equation, and we'll use some data set to try to estimate the parameters alpha naught and alpha 1 using a two-stage least square procedure. So in this case, in stage 1, you are seeing on the screen the model. In stage 1, what to do? You remember that we need a reduced form equation. Which one? Look at the original equation 1, the demand equation. What is the endogenous variable on the right-hand side? Price. So price is endogenous. It exists on the right hand side of the over identified equation. So the equation, the reduced form equation of price is needed. You will write this equation. You will estimate it through OLS. You will find the trend values P hat. This completes stage 1. Now in stage 2, you will come back to the quantity demanded is alpha naught plus alpha 1 P plus E1, and you will replace P hat instead of P in the equation, and you will estimate quantity demanded is equal to an intercept plus a slope into P hat instead of P plus an error term. So this will complete the second stage and give you good estimates for alpha naught and alpha 1, provided there are some tests of endogeneity that we need to do. However, you will get 2-stage least square estimates of alpha naught and alpha 1 by applying these 2 sets of procedures. Now for this model, the choice of reduced form equation is based on which variable exists on the right hand side. Presently in this model, only price is the endogenous variable. Suppose you have 2 endogenous variables, what will you do? In that case, you will estimate 2 reduced forms through the data by applying OLS, and you will replace both of them on the right hand side of the over identified equation. But presently only P is the variable. Instead of P, you will replace P hat and find your estimators. So look at the reduced form. P is pi 1 naught plus pi 1 1 into C, which is cost, pi 1 2 into T plus V1. V1 is an expression, a symbol to demonstrate the expression, to show it's an expression containing residuals or disturbance terms. T is level of technology, C is cost of production. Pi 1 naught, 1 1 and 1 2 are the reduced form coefficients. And as you have written P in terms of 2 exogenous variables, this is a reduced form equation for P. You didn't solve anything. You just can write it by knowing, remember 2 properties of reduced form, that there are only exogenous variables on the right hand side. I repeat this so that you can properly remember them. You have 2 exogenous variables, C and T. You need both of them on the right hand side of each reduced form equation. You are not concerned with the reduced form equation of quantity. You need the reduced form equation for price. So it is expressed in terms of, say, dependent on C and T. So for 2-stage least square, we don't need to know the second reduced form equation. We don't need to know the reduced form coefficients expressions, what they are equal to in terms of alphas and betas. We also don't need to express alphas and betas in terms of reduced form coefficients, because we can do that in more than one way. Now look at the data. This time you have 4 variables: quantity, price, cost, and technology. Remember that cost and technology appear only on the equation of supply, not in the demand equation. And quantity and price are endogenous. Again, remember, you have 10 observations. This is just an example. 2SLS is a procedure that should be applied to a reasonable number of observations. You must have a good sample size. Otherwise, you may get biased values. So now we have estimates for this reduced form equation as P is equal to 0.868 plus 0.548 C plus 1.3683 technology. So here you will find the trend values of the P hat, which are given in a column, and you will replace this in the original equation. For example, look at the column. You have 10 values, 6.6, 7.0, etc. This completes stage 1. So in stage 1, we estimated the reduced form equation for price and found its trend values. Now in stage 2, as I told you earlier, we will replace P hat instead of P and run another OLS. So the values you are seeing on the screen, the equations, quantity demanded is alpha naught plus alpha 1 P plus C1. This was the original structural equation, which was over identified. And then you have Q is equal to alpha naught plus alpha 1 P hat. We have substituted P hat instead of P. Now we'll run a regression Q on P hat. And running that regression gives you an equation Q is equal to 4.1735 plus 0.4667 P, which you are seeing on the screen. Now this 0.4667 is the estimate of alpha 1 by 2 SLS. So we can say alpha 1 2 SLS is equal to 0.4667. And alpha naught 2 SLS is 4.1735. Now if you find the OLS estimates, if you regress Q on P directly, as the values you are seeing on the screen, 5.906 and 0.20799, which are alpha naught by OLS and alpha 1 by OLS, they are quite different from the values that you estimated by 2SLS. So why don't we use the values of 2SLS? We don't use the values of OLS estimators because they are not consistent. They are not reliable because you have endogenous variable on the right hand side. So to avoid that, we applied a two-stage least square procedure and we got reliable and consistent estimators alpha naught and alpha 1 by 2SLS. Remember that this procedure is applied to over-identified equation. It can be applied to exactly identified equation and it will give the same results as indirect least square. But the inverse is not true. You cannot apply ILS to over-identified equations. So this example clarifies how you can manually or semi-manually compute the 2SLS estimators of an over-identified equation. The next task would be using some kind of software to just click and get all the values and different stages and results, which we will do in some time. Now let's move to applying Stata modules or commands to solve for the parameters of two-stage least square by two-stage least square procedure. We'll use for the same two examples that we have been discussing earlier. So in fact, we have two choices. One, we have a command called reg3, which is basically a command for three-stage least square, but we can specify an option for two-stage least square. And the second would be IVregress, instrumental variable regression basically. We'll use that to estimate the parameters of the two equations, two examples that we have been discussing and we solved through Excel, through linest command, etc. by applying a manual procedure. So you have two commands. As you remember, Stata provides two ways. One, it has a user interface that you can just click and just type in your commands. And second, you can only use the command window and type your entire command with the options, etc. and get your results. So the first command that we will discuss is reg3, which is developed for three-stage least square. You can apply it for three-stage least square, which you may learn later. But presently, if we specify an option 2SLS, as you are going to see, we'll be able to find the 2SLS estimates of the parameters of an over-identified equation. So first look at the screen where I have given the procedure to use the user interface. You will click on statistics and a small list will open in which you will click on endogenous covariates. Another small list will open. You will select three-stage least square. A small window will appear requiring you some information about the variables. You will provide that information and you will also check an option 2SLS. If you don't check that option, you will get 3SLS estimates. So presently you want 2SLS estimates. You will check that option and then say OK. You will get the results. These results can be got by the same way in the same Stata program by just typing in the commands. For example, you will type in reg3. In parentheses, you are seeing y1 and y2 and another pair of parentheses. So you have y2, x1 and x2. You don't have equal sign, but the reg3 shows that you are going to use the command reg3. In the first parenthesis, you have y1, y2. This means the first variable is the dependent variable and the second variable is the independent variable. So remember your first equation in the first example, you had y1 as a function of y2. So this is the first original structural equation. In the second, you have in parentheses y2, x1 and x2. This is not the second equation. This is the reduced form equation that you had been estimating in the first stage, that is y2 on x1 and x2. And then after comma, you know that in Stata, after a comma, we have different options. All the options are written after a comma in a command. So here you have an option 2SLS to specify that you need 2SLS estimates. Remember also that when you use the user interface, the graphic user interface, you just click on statistics and endogenous covariates and three-stage least square. A window opens, you fill in the information and then check the option 2SLS and say, okay, this is in my opinion, this is a longer procedure. And if you just type in, you will get quick results and it's faster as compared to using the graphic user interface. However, when you use the graphic user interface, when you have the results, you will see what was the command that you should have typed if you use the command window. So this makes life easy. So if you forget the command and you want to use the graphic user interface for the first time, you just do it and you get the typed in command. You try to understand that command so that next time you can just type and get quicker results. So let's go deep into what this command was. So look at the screen. First you will write reg3. This is different from the reg command, which was for regression. In the first parenthesis, you will write the original over-identified equation, which in this case was the first equation. And in the second parenthesis, you will write the reduced form equation. Which one? Of the previous variable y2, because you can see in the first parenthesis, you have y2 as the endogenous variable, and you need to specify y2 in terms of x1, x2, showing the exogenous variables and the reduced form equation. Also note that you haven't placed an equal sign. You didn't write y1 is equal to y2 or y2 equals x1, x2. Here you don't need that. The first variable in the set is the dependent variable, and the rest of the variables are independent variables. You need to specify an option 2SLS. So the basic syntax is given on the screen. Reg3 in parentheses, first over-identified equation, and then in parentheses, second the reduced form equation, and after comma an option of 2SLS. If you have the data in Excel, which I have given in the 2SLS.xlsx, which is given to you with the lesson notes, you just copy that, including the variable names, and open the data window, the worksheet in which you place data, in the edit mode, and just paste. You will get a message asking whether you want to treat the first row as variable names or no. So you specify, yes, we want to treat the first row as variable names. So Stata will pick the variables and pick your data. This is not a good approach, by the way. You shouldn't just copy and paste from Excel. You should use the in-sheet command or other ways to get data from Excel in standard format into Stata. But here you have simple numeric variable, and you don't have commas or texts within your variables. You have simple numeric variables with simple values. If you just copy paste, there will be no problem presently. But let me tell you, don't do that for large data sets. You will have problems. When Stata reads that data, it may change some things. So here you will just copy the table that you have seen in this Excel file and paste into the edit mode worksheet that gives the data input, and you will say, yes, we need first row to be treated as variable names. So Stata will accept that. Now close the window, move to the command line in Stata, type reg3 y1 y2 y2 x1 x2 and 2SLS, or use the graphic user interface. You will get the following result, which you are seeing on the screen. Remember that this is not the usual color scheme of the new Stata. I have changed this to make it in accordance with your TV display so that you can easily see the numbers. So let's understand the result. First of all, look at the top command, reg3 y1 y2 y2 x1 x2, both in parentheses, comma 2SLS. So whenever you run a command, if you have used the graphic interface, even then you will get this command. If you have typed in, even then you will get it. Then you have two-stage least squares regression. If you have specified an option after comma 2SLS, then you will get two-stage least square regression. If you don't specify, you will get three-stage least square regression. So in the first part of this result, you have equation y1 and y2. This shows that we had two equations, in fact, which also shows that y1 and y2 are endogenous. You have 10 observations. You have one parameter in the third column. You have the parameters, one parameter in the equation y1 and 2 in the equation y2. You have the root mean square error, the R square, the F statistic, and the P values, which you know from regression. They have the same meaning. In the second part, you have both the stages. Stage 2 is given before stage 1 here, because actually these are the results you want. That is, for y2 you have a coefficient 13.785 and a constant, that is the intercept, is 12.81175 in the first column labeled as coefficients. So this 13.785, which is given against y2, is the slope coefficient of the equation, but estimated through two-stage least square. And 12.811 is the alpha naught, the intercept, the constant of this equation. You have standard errors, you have t values, you have p values. Look at the p values. The first one is 0.000. It may not be 0, but it may be very small value like 0 with several zeros and then some value, so it is displayed as 0 over here. And then you have 0.016. So what does this p value signify? So as you remember from regression, p value shows at what level your calculated test statistic becomes greater than the table value, so you can reject h naught. So here you will reject h naught and conclude that the coefficient of y2, that is 13.785, is significant at 1% level of significance, because this is less than 1%, the p-value. So in the second case, the p-value is 0.016, which is 1.6%. This is above 1% but less than 5%. So you can reject H0 at 5% and say, when you traditionally use 1%, 5% and 10% levels of significance, so you can state that the constant, the intercept, is significant at 5% level of significance. Now what is below this? You are seeing Y2, this is in fact stage 1. If you perform stage 1 manually, you can compare the values, the coefficients of x1 and x2 in the reduced form equation of Y2, which are minus 0.039 and minus 0.1517 as coefficients of x1 and x2 that you have already computed in Excel. So the intercept is 3.0105, which also is the same. So you have identical values from the stage 1 of your computations. Here also you have t values and p values, but presently we don't go deep in the background. So below you are seeing list of variables as endogenous variables y1 and y2, exogenous variables x1 and x2. So when you write your command, this is another way to verify whether the exogenous and endogenous variables are treated by Stata as you wanted or no. So these results directly give you the two-stage least square estimates of example 1 that you can use by getting reg3 command. Later we'll discuss the IV regress command, but let's move to example 2. Remember, in example 2 we had the market model, and in the market model again remember the syntax. You have reg3 and then in the parentheses you have the original over identified equation without an equal sign, and then in the second parenthesis you have the reduced form of the variable that was on the right hand side of the over identified equation, and then after comma you have an option to SLS that specifies that you don't need 3-stage least square estimates, you need 2-stage least square estimate. This is an easy way. We can use other commands as well like IV regress, but this is good way to start with. You can use the reg3. So look at the screen. In the command window you will type reg3 in the first parenthesis Q and P, which indicate the first over identified equation. Quantity demanded is a function of price. Yeah, quantity demanded is equal to alpha naught plus alpha 1 into price plus another term. In the second parenthesis you have PCT, which is the reduced form for price, because price was the variable that was on the right hand side of the over identified equation. So you needed a reduced form for P, and C and T are the exogenous variables. So you remember all exogenous variables appear on the right hand side of the reduced form equation. So you'll write P, C and T, comma to SLS, which specifies that use this reg3 3-stage least square command to get the 2-stage least square estimates. So the syntax is given below. You can see that. You can practice for other questions as well. You can use the graphic user interface as well, and then you will get the following results which you are seeing on the screen. So like the previous ones, first you have a title that is 2-stage least square regression because you specified an option to SLS, and then you have a set of equations Q and P which indicate that you had two equations Q and P with 10 observations, the first containing 1 parameter and the second P containing 2 parameters. This is the number of variables in fact. So root mean square error and R square F statistic have the usual meaning. The second part is distributed into 2. The first one is the second stage result. The second one is the first stage result. So you have the second stage result where you get the coefficient of P as 0.4667. It is just identical to the coefficient that you obtained earlier by using Microsoft Excel. So it is the same. Similarly, you have 4.17 as the intercept. These are the 2-stage least square estimates of the market model that you have been discussing previously by using Microsoft Excel. Now you have got it through the Stata command. You can just copy this table, copy the results, and right click and say copy table and then paste into Microsoft Word or whatever you want. So you can even export these results by using some commands that are not built in Stata, but you can download the module and just install it. So below you are seeing the first stage results. If we apply stage 1, remember in stage 1 we compute or estimate the reduced form equation of the variable on the right hand side of the over identified equation. So that was for price. On C and T, that was cost and technology. You get 0.54 as the coefficient of C, 1.36 as the coefficient of T, and 0.868 as the intercept term. Exactly identical to what you got when you used Microsoft Excel line ST in the first stage. Again, at the end you have endogenous variables Q and P and exogenous variables cost and technology. This is the use of reg3. If you practice more, you will come to know there are other options of reg3. Just type in help reg3. You will come to know other uses of reg3. This vast and complicated command, but presently in the context of two-stage least square, we have used this three-stage least square command to get our two-stage least square results. So you can take other examples as well and try manually and as well as in Stata to compare the results and know two things. One, that if you manually adopt the procedure, as you may do in the exam, you are correctly moving. And also, if you go in Stata, you are correctly typing the command and you know what are the exogenous and endogenous. So these should match. If they don't match, there is a problem either in your manual procedure or in Stata. So I would recommend that you do both. You do a manual procedure and then you replicate it by using reg3 command or IV regress, as we'll do in some time, and see whether the results exactly match of stage 1 and stage 2. Now let's move to another command, that is instrumental variable regress, IV regress. If you want to know about this command, you can just type in help IV regress. You will get a help window. You can scroll down, you get the menu. Menu means how do you activate the IV regress command by just clicking by using the graphic user interface. And later on, if you scroll down, you will get examples. You will get the options that you can use and examples, including the example files in Stata, or you can download them. And there are various examples which show you how to use IV regress. So presently, we want to use IV regress to replicate the two-stage least square procedure that first we discussed manually by using Microsoft Excel, not completely manually, and then we use the reg3 command. Let's see whether the reg3 and IV regress give the same results for the same data set and the same type of models. The syntax is different. Remember, you wrote reg3 and then two set of parentheses. In the first one, you had the original over-identified equation. In the second, you had the reduced form of the variable on the right hand side of the over-identified equation, and then you specified an option 2SLS. Now look at the command in IV regress on the screen. You have IV regress. This time you have 2SLS not as an option, as a part of the IV regress command. So when you write IV regress space 2SLS, you get the two-stage least square estimates of whatever model you are putting in. So you have Y1 and in parentheses you have Y2. Remember, you didn't have equal sign previously in reg3. Now you have Y2 equals X1, X2, parenthesis closed. So we don't have two sets of parentheses. In fact, the first over-identified equation is Y1 on Y2. But here you are showing that Y2 is dependent on two exogenous variables, X1 and X2. So this is the syntax of IV regress. Let's see the results. The results you are seeing on the screen: number of observations 10, the Wald chi-square, the probability greater than chi-square 0, which shows the fit, R squared, the usual coefficient of determination, the root mean square error. Now look below, you are seeing Y1, because this was the dependent variable in the actual over-identified equation. And then you have Y2, the coefficient is 13.785, exactly matches the previous two procedures where you used reg3 and you used Excel, and the intercept 12.811, again an exact match. So in fact, this is a technique called instrumentation. So you have instrumented Y2 by specifying that Y2 is equal to X, is dependent on X1 and X2. So here look at the screen again. You have Z and P values of Z, 0 and 0.0. Again, significance at 1% level of significance, and the intercept at again 1% level of significance. You have confidence intervals. These are the same usual confidence intervals that you get normally when you use the reg command in simple and multiple regression. So you have instrumented variable Y2, and the instruments are X1 and X2. So in fact, this is an instrumental variable technique that you are using for two-stage least square. So let me tell you another thing. This time, unlike the reg3, you don't get the result of both stages of two-stage least square. But if you want them, you will just add an option after comma. All the options in Stata are added after a comma, and that option is first. So look at the screen. If you type IV regress 2SLS Y1 parenthesis Y2 instrumented on X1 and X2 and then comma first, you will get both these stages in the same screen. In the screen I am showing, we have only the results of the second stage, the final results. But if you want to see what was in the stage 1, you will type an option first. Similarly, for the second model, you will write IV regress 2SLS. In fact, in the second model, you have the first over identified equation as Q on P. That's it. So you'll write IV regress 2SLS Q P. But for P, you want to instrument P. So in parentheses, you will write P is equal to C and T. C and T are cost and technology, which were the exogenous variables in the reg3 command as well as the procedure that you adopted by using Microsoft Excel. You will get the following results that you are seeing on the screen. Again, 0.4667 and 4.17, an exact match of what you did earlier. So Z and P values of Z, they are not significant here, but this time you have confidence intervals which you didn't have in the reg3 command. So we can use the option first again here also to get the results of both stages. So this is the way we use the IV regress command to replicate the results of two-stage least square that we did in Microsoft Excel and by the use of reg3. So first, I would recommend you don't go to directly using the reg3 and IV regress command and thinking that it's just simple, just click and write and get your results. You want to know how these results are obtained. For that, and for going through your exam also, you need to know the manual procedure. So practice that first and then verify it by using different software. You can use SPSS as well, other software as well.